All right, and we are back, and it is time for the Else Views. This is the part of the section of the show where we talk about movies, music, TV shows, video games, anything that we've been enjoying over the past week, or in our guest's case, however far back you want to talk about. Since this is your first time on here, or Corey, since he hasn't been on here in like 4 years or whatever. It seems like it's been forever, even though it's only been like a month or so. Corey, do you have anything you want to share as you're nerding out?
Good Lord, what have I done lately? It's so weird because when I'm not assigned stuff for the week, for like, oh, this is my review or this is the horror movie I have to watch, I just kind of get to put on the TV and not think about it, and it's beautiful. But
so what are some of the things you've been watching then?
I am going to say one thing that maybe accidentally qualifies is this weekend I watched the 1 hour premiere, which is basically 2 episodes of The Return of DuckTales.
I missed that. I forgot. Like Evan. Okay, no. Here's the thing. I've been seeing the commercials because last week I talked about Disney XP the Disney XP thing, where it's got all the gaming stuff, and it's sort of like G4.0, like it's like the newer version of G4 in this like Adult Swim style block of entertainment. And this past week they've been advertising the hell out of DuckTales, and I'm like, so excited. Danny Pudi, Kate Micucci, David Tennant, and all this stuff. And then I'm like, oh, that was on Sunday. I forgot. Like I think I was honestly busy watching Portlandia. Like,
so it replayed a lot. It replayed a lot through the weekend, and I wouldn't be surprised if you won't see it replay a lot again. Also, I think that they released the episodes online, so you can watch them.
Yeah, Beat said they're available on YouTube.
Yeah, I think that they were trying to build up viewership, and it's not going to be actually premiering the show until September. So they kind of pulled a Rick and Morty, except they let people know that it was going to be on, but you watch it a lot the weekend that it comes out, and then eventually it'll come back on again.
Well, so here's the thing. Disney's been doing this, and as a 28-year-old who still watches Disney Channel, I can let you know that Disney's been doing this with a lot of their stuff. So for example, with Descendants 2 on Disney, which they aired on like all the Disney-owned channels except for ESPN.
It played on ABC. We wound up watching it.
Yeah, I don't know if it aired on ABC as well, but on Disney Channel,
it did.
Which is also they played they played afterwards the new Disney Channel series Raven's Home.
Oh no, on ABC they didn't do that. They played a basically the actors and actresses for the movie kind of like sitting and hanging out and talking about what the filming and everything was.
Which I have to add on my Comcast thing, it was funny because all 3 of those channels, they did it on Freeform, they did it on ABC, on Disney Channel and ABC. They're all right there. So it's like Descendants 2, Descendants 2, Descendants 2. I'm like, no, I don't want to watch Descendants 2. But then they aired Raven's Home after that. So, and this is something that they've been, and actually I think Nickelodeon does it too, with like the Kids' Choice Awards. Like they always do this a lot. But I don't think there was anything that they did with DuckTales. It was just like, oh, hey, we're going to air the first 2 episodes of DuckTales. But so
I don't know that it took anything more than that. So I'm a longtime DuckTales viewer and fan. When the Disney cartoons came out in the 90s, or was it the 80s? Man, it was a long time ago. They premiered with they premiered with Gummy Bears, which you didn't really have any expectations of because it was like, well, I've eaten gummy bears, but I don't know what the hell this thing is. But became one of my all-time favorite cartoons and just a great mythology to it. But then they got around to DuckTales and Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers, and then they eventually got to things like Darkwing Duck, Tailspin, and then it got a little weird with Bonkers. But so the Disney cartoons came out at a time when Saturday morning cartoons were fucking going away, and we were getting hit with Zach Morris shit. And Mark Paul Gosselaar is a cool guy. I'm not gonna rip his ass up because I ain't Slater. But I am gonna say the fucking fall of society can easily be traced back to when NBC said, "Fuck cartoons, we're gonna put on this teen bullshit every Saturday instead, and you're gonna get Hoop Dreams instead of fucking anything good." So that pissed me off. And then
how else would I have learned that caffeine pills to study are bad?
I'm so excited.
By watching Degrassi?
I'm so scared.
Degrassi was superior.
Degrassi was absolutely superior. So was Swan's Crossing. I'm just saying, and that's what caused all the cartoons to go to sub-channels. You had to have extended cable to get the Cartoon Network, which I fought for years to get, and I didn't finally get until I was in my near 30s living in California. Nickelodeon got their cartoons. We got Ren and Stimpy and Rugrats, and Disney Channel started airing their own cartoons. But at least Disney was putting the stuff on ABC at the time too, so you could get up and watch cartoons during your weekends. And that's important as a kid. That's how young minds wake up on the weekend, because fuck, there's no other reason to. My point is I like DuckTales.
Yeah. I'm going to add on to that, because you're talking about, but with where you're talking about with them ending is my prime. This is also the portion of the show where I make Corey feel extremely old. And I apologize. I was going to do this earlier when Nate was talking about episode 1, because where he said he was 14, I was 10. And all that. So I apologize now. But where NBC might have been going away with the cartoons and all that and doing the Hoop Dreams, and I think there was another one that I don't really remember. Fox was mainly where I watched a lot of the stuff, and then Kids WB on there. That was my, Saturday morning cartoons, run downstairs. We had the antenna and all that stuff, turn it to the right thing. It's like, oh, it's going fuzzy, and get the aluminum foil and all that stuff, because we still had that shit, and go forth and, and just watch from 8. Actually, I think they had some stuff at 7 a.m., but I was lazy and I didn't wake up until 8 until like noon and stuff, like just for the next 4 hours watching Power Rangers and the X-Men and all that stuff from my childhood and all that. So I don't know, wasn't that what it was when you were a kid too, Corey? Back in the black and white television days?
No,
back when our TVs had 2 knobs. Yeah,
we used to hammer out cartoons on stone tablets and threw them at Jews. I just. If you ever read the Bible and you see the calf that they put together that was made of gold, boy, is that a political figure right now. Fucking shit. Anyway, DuckTales. So
I'll ask you this, Corey. What did you think of the cast? Like how they were all, involved? Because we got Donald. I know Donald Duck is played by the same guy who played, who's done Donald Duck for a while now.
And let me tell you about being 45 years old. Is at 45 years old, you start to realize listening to Donald Duck talk is a pain in the fucking ass. And the guy does a great Donald Duck. Sounds like classic Donald. And I'm like, how the fuck did I ever understand what the shit this guy was saying when I was 10? It's because I had young ears and I gave a fuck. Now I'm like, God damn it, Donald just... I started to think, do I need to put on subtitles? I'm like, no, I'll save those for when Tennant shows up, because his Scottish brogue bullshit is going to be hard enough to deal with. So it starts out very much with Donald and the introduction of the nephews, the two, Bobby Moynihan and Danny Pudi. And then we get, I always forget who's playing Louis. The guy from fucking Parks and Rec that hangs out with.
Aziz Ansari?
No, who hangs out with Aziz, but god damn it.
Oh, Ben
Morse?
What's his last name? It's more Jewish.
Oh shit.
We're down at all this episode. Schwartz?
Ben Schwartz.
Okay.
Yes, Ben Schwartz.
Let's see. So Donald Duck is talking to the nephews, and the nephew voices are very much not aligned with what I remember the nephews being like. Also, they're a little more 90s extreme than they were. They're just like they're very cool and bullshit millennial kind of crap. And I had a problem with it at first. It takes a little while to get to the point where you can handle this crap. Now, as a kid, I would probably not have a problem. But as an adult, I'm just like, oh, Jesus, is this what it's all going to be about? When they get to the part where they're at Scrooge McDuck's and they're introduced to Webby, played by Kate Missali, who is excellent in it, and she kind of starts leading them around and introducing them to the prospects of adventures, and then it all takes off, that's when I warmed to it. Because I don't want it to be kids just doing dumb bullshit kid stuff. I liked the aspect that was based off of the Carl Barks Scrooge McDuck stories from the comics. And that's why DuckTales was cool. It was all the adventures. It was very much like a Indiana Jones with feathers in a way. It stood out because the storylines could be so enriched and so cool. The second episode delves into that more. And it's the second episode is very much a continuation from the first episode, even though they are separate stories, because it's still establishing Donald Duck being a part of this. I don't know that I'm in love with Beck Bennett playing Launchpad yet. He's a little too out of it, a little too non-committed to the storyline. He's Launchpad was always not simpleton, but not like the brightest bulb in the pack. They just made him a little too much of a dimwit in this so far.
Okay.
But then I also see a lot of Launchpad being developed in Darkwing Duck, which would come later, and they always kind of played whether or not Launchpad was the same character between the two, because yeah, it's him both times, but he acts quite a bit differently in both shows.
So because I've only seen the commercials, the 5,000 commercials that they've aired during DXP. And so it's like, it was hearing David Tennant as Scrooge. I'm like, okay, that sounds really cool. And
yeah, I now really want to see David Tennant relaunch Mr. Ed, because because the guy from Mr. Ed did the voice like that for years.
Yeah,
he's great. He's absolutely great. He does an impeccable job with the character. It sounds classic. It sounds authentic, which it should. And he's got great personality. He nails it. He absolutely nails it. And as you go along, I think all the characters become a little bit more genuine and endearing, and you can handle the change from the original to this. That's the thing, is you update something and you're going to have the people who are the old schoolers, and they're going to be like, well, this sucks. It's not the way I remember it. You're shitting on my childhood, Ghostbusters. And then you're going to have the people who don't give a shit about any of that because they didn't grow up with it and like, this is fucking awesome. What are you talking about? I think it's an awesome show. I think that if you are a classic fan, give yourself a chance to warm to it, and you'll probably enjoy it quite a bit. And the storylines and stuff that they did, the first episode definitely pilotitis, not a lot, but they corrected for it in the second episode, and it feels very genuine to what the show was before, and I can only see it getting better from here.
So the other part that I like, because this is going against, it is, but it isn't going against how a lot of the new cartoons have been going against. You look at any show that Cartoon Network puts out, they're 15-minute episodes, which I do understand. In my childhood, Garfield, Bobby's World, Doug, stuff like that. They did the 15, but they always blocked them together in half-hour episodes. So you're always just getting.
You got U.S. Acres, and that was garbage.
Point taken.
I like the comic strip that it was based on, though.
Yes, yes. It just didn't make 15 minutes somehow.
That's actually how I feel about when I watch like some of the newer Peanut stuff that they do for like the random holidays that aren't Christmas or Halloween, where it's like, okay, these are all just like little 30-second bits that you're doing here, and you're just
they had
together.
They had a Peanuts cartoon series that was on Saturdays in the 80s that was shorts that were all tied together in an episode, but for the most part, they weren't big stories. They were smaller stories that felt more akin to the comic strips.
Yeah, getting back to what I was going to say, the thing that I like about DuckTales is they're all half-hour episodes, which I think, you can get more of a story to where, to pick on Cartoon Network, when you are billing these TV episodes, whether it be Steven Universe or Teen Titans Go or We Bare Bears, which has a connection here since Bobby Moynihan voices characters on both shows, where you're talking about, new episodes or an event. And it's like, oh, well, this is a 30, it's a 15-minute episode. So you got a whole month where you're stretching it out when it's really 2.5 hours or 2 hours if you're only doing the, Monday through Thursday for this thing. That doesn't seem smart.
Well, I think it depends on the type of show, though, too, because they don't do that with Ben 10.
Ben 10 is 15-minute, I believe.
Did they switch it to 15 minutes? Because it didn't used to be.
The new one. With this new art style. Because that was the thing. They did it with Teen Titans, with Teen Titans Go. And it's like, all right, come on. Really? Are the kids that ADD?
Yeah, but could I take a full half hour of The Light Begins to Shine, or is 15 minutes enough?
That whole thing was a 2-hour deal.
Yeah, they did a 2-hour event just recently, which I have not watched yet, and I will. I will watch it.
I haven't either. Not yet. It's the same thing. I'll probably watch that next week. I'm gonna switch things over. Corey and Amy, do you have anything you want to share?
I do. So I don't know if you guys know, but I work at a friendly local game store. So I get a lot of cool stuff that comes my way. I just pre-ordered a game for the store called Donner Dinner Party, and I'm pretty proud about it. And I'm trying not to let my boss know that I pre-ordered this game for the store because I don't know how he'll feel about it exactly. But what I actually want to promote is
what I hear right now. So what I hear right now is don't share this with Amy's boss.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. I'll sell like a dozen of them on the name alone. It's fine. I'm in a college.
It sounds
town.
interesting.
Yeah. But no, so a friend of mine has made a card game called No Regerts. Nate has played it with me a couple of times now, and it's the game of art and bad decisions. It's a tattoo game, and so it's a card game in which you get tattoos on you have cards and you get tattoos on your body, and you encourage other people to get terrible tattoos. And some of them are worth positive points, some of them are negative, and by the end, you add it all up. It's really quick to learn, really fast paced, and it's a good one for like people that like playing games but have the friends that like don't really like playing. So it's that good like middle ground. It's interesting enough if you are a tabletop gamer, but it's something a little bit more than your Cards Against Humanity party game. It is now available on Amazon, but getting Amazon to not autocorrect No Regerts is like
I just tried that.
Yeah, it's an ordeal. So you can get it directly from them at poisonfishgames.com, which is a little simpler because Amazon does not like it at all. So No Regerts, the game of bad decisions. The best was playing with our friend Annalisa, though, because she only wanted to get the tattoos she liked. Like, regardless of what their point value was, she wanted that octopus tattoo. So she took that one every time, and it was great.
See, you described this game, and I have to say, this is one of the things that my college group at my church, they have. We've done game nights and stuff like this. And they always want to play catchphrase, and I fucking hate catchphrase because it is not a good. It's not a good party game. I'm too competitive.
I'm just curious about a church group. Do you stress that you fucking hate catchphrase? Because that would be.
I do censor myself there, where I'm like, no, I hate catchphrase. I do not want to play this. I've got a whole bunch of games, including The Contender, which is right behind me, that we could play that we could have more fun with. And actually talk instead of hearing you guys yell, "It's Sebastian," or whatever, and just these random ass, words. And it's like they're like, "Oh, but no, it's such a fun game for you. You're one of the loud people." There's two games that I will not play with these people. There are two games that I will not play with these. That catchphrase and Space Team.
But Naked Twister is okay.
Yeah. Well, I have another one you might like too. There's a game called Snake Oil. That falls into that.
Yes, we've played Snake Oil.
Okay.
I love Snake Oil.
I like Snake Oil. Snake Oil is a quality game.
Yes, Snake Oil is
sounds
awesome.
like that group would absolutely love Action News when that comes out.
I do want to get Action News as well. But it's like there are some people in there, they're like, oh yeah, we'll play. I've played a bunch of the more independent board games, not the Monopoly or your typical, when you think of board games, stuff like that with them. Like, oh gosh, what was one of the games? Bang, the Italian. Yep. The Italian Western card game.
Yes.
Played that with them. And it's one of those it's like, get out of your little bubble of these mainstream Parker Brothers, Warner Brothers, whatever games here.
That being said, there is a new version of Monopoly called Monopoly Gamer, and it's Nintendo based, and it's awesome from what I haven't got it yet because the only person I would play it with would be my daughter, and I don't know if $40 is worth the drop. But if you get it at games, and this is another thing too, you can buy it on Amazon or anywhere, but if you go into GameStop, there's a bonus character. You get Bowser. One, I don't think Bowser should be a special character, and two, I don't want to go into a GameStop.
I'd cleaned the store before we opened yesterday, and I rearranged the shelf where we keep the Monopoly because we have all those, we have Sorry and Monopoly. If you're new or someone's grandma and you're just oh, I know what that is, great. And 3 people bought Monopoly, and I wanted to stop them. I wanted to say, but there's so many good games here. You don't have to do this. We're not at Target. It's fine. There are options.
But Monopoly has gotten their shit down by making every fucking thing a Monopoly game. There's a Rick and Morty Monopoly coming out.
Yeah, it is still Monopoly, though. I did just get Golden Girls Clue. At least Clue's a good game. So, and they're doing Rick and Morty Clue, too.
Monopoly, okay, see, here's the thing. So, the problem with Monopoly is very few people who play Monopoly know how to play Monopoly. If you play Monopoly with people who refuse to fucking trade, it is so goddamn annoying. Like, if you play Monopoly the way that Monopoly was intended to be played, it's great. And then also, like, the modern version, like, so I have Zelda Monopoly because it's Zelda. I've never opened it because it's Monopoly. I haven't opened it because it's Monopoly. But no, but there's like the Monopoly, what is it, the Here and Now, where they get rid of all the paper money and you just all get debit cards.
Yeah,
Like, eliminate the bank, like eliminate all the tedious shit. Like, I understand people like their chits and people like their little miniatures and things like that. I just recently got into Warhammer. I am totally cool with the miniatures. Like, that's fine. But don't make me fucking count paper money. I don't like counting real money. I want all, like, I have an Apple Watch with my Apple Pay. I don't want cash in my wallet. Like, it's cumbersome.
Yeah.
Speaking of Rick and Morty, though, there are a few Rick and Morty games out now that aren't just like reskins of other games that are really, like, they're surprisingly on point. There's a Mr. Meeseeks game, which I haven't had a chance to play it, but it comes in a Meeseeks box and like you hit the button on top and it makes the noise. There's Total Recall, which is that episode where there's all like the fake people, right? Where they've got all the fake memories of people. And so you have to figure out which people actually exist and which people don't. And most excitingly, the most recent one is Anatomy Park, where you are all trying to like build attractions in Anatomy Park and not die from, the plague or whatever. So good.
To stick up for my employer that you insulted earlier, I believe Target had the Meeseeks game.
Yes.
The Mr. Meeseeks game.
Yes.
Yeah. And I will also point out that Target has quite a few of the games that I enjoy playing or want to get. Like, I have Exploding Kittens, but they have the Party Edition that has the next expansion and all that stuff that I really want to get. And they also have Cards Against Humanity, and they have a Exploding Kittens Cards Against Humanity crossover like expansion. I'm like, that would be totally cool.
Kitties Against Humanity?
No, I forget what it is. It's like the secret expansion pack or something like that. But it's got like, I think 20 cards in it.
That being,
and it's only like $5.
The thing about
this
Target
segment was brought to you by Target.
The thing about Target,
we're not as shitty as Walmart.
Almost. Before I kind of got more board game tabletop knowledge from friends like Amy and things like that, a lot of my tabletop exposure came from the Scott Johnson's TMS PM segment when Dan Tabletop Man would come on and talk about board games and tabletop games. And I almost every week there's at least one, or every other week that he's on, there's at least one game that he mentions is a Target exclusive. So apparently Target is doing something right in the board game world.
Yeah, like we cannot carry Cards Against Humanity unless we order them off Amazon and mark it up, because they will not deal with distributors other than Target.
Right. So Target's doing something right.
And I will point out that this past holiday season, we could not keep the base deck in there. We couldn't keep these separate expansions. I love the fact that they actually they went to the different, like the green box, red box, blue box, where it has 3 expansions in there at a time.
Yep.
And all that. And we'd get calls all the time, but it's like holiday season. I'd be like, "Hi, welcome to Target. We don't have the Nintendo Switch. We don't have Cards Against Humanity. We don't have the Nintendo Classic." Like, oh, okay, bye. So it's like I get somebody, because I'd be like, "Hello, how can I help you?" And they're like, "Do you guys got the Nintendo?" Nope. Do you guys got this? Nope. Do you guys got? Nope. Like, they ask for what we don't have.
I got really tired. Like, so my first exposure to Cards Against Humanity was at BlizzCon in 2014. I had never played it. So we played it drunk in the Hilton at BlizzCon, and it was great. I loved it. I thought it was awesome because I am crude, and if you can give me a reason to say like biggest, blackest dick like in a large crowd, then I like the game because it's funny.
I can give you a reason.
But anyway, I know I picked the wrong card. Yeah, so I bought it all. I splurged on the whole thing. I got the whole thing. I got the biggest, blackest box. Like, I got all of it.
Spurged.
That was an intentional word choice. So, and then I let a friend of mine borrow it like 8 months ago. I haven't got it back, and I don't even care. Like, I got so bored of that game. I mean, not only is the Contender like a more entertaining version of it to me, now we've got Action News coming out, which is similar and even more entertaining, but has more longevity because you don't need an election going on for it to be entertaining.
Yeah.
So I mean, Cards is great, and yeah, it was adult apples to apples, so cool. But I just think, I mean, it's great because it got people into almost like what Amy was saying with No Regerts. Like, it's great because it's almost like it's that good cherry popper for non-tabletop players. And Cards was good for that too because everybody likes to swear. So and it's easy. You know, you have black cards and white cards. You segregate your cards, and then you swear at each other. So it worked out really well. But I think once you kind of develop a taste for whether they're card games or miniatures games or whatever, once you develop a taste for tabletop, I think you very quickly get bored of Cards Against Humanity.
I have
Yeah.
a card with my name on it, and that is worth it to me. But otherwise, yeah.
This is one of the things that like I've only ever played Cards Against Humanity online with my Minecraft friends.
Yeah.
Like doing the Pretend You're XYZ website.
Yep.
And stuff like that. And I could always tell when someone plays the wild cards, because with the typing it in, because it'll either be extremely personal about one of our friends, or it's the biggest blackest dick because I'm the card czar and I tell people how much that card makes me laugh, and they never put the period at the end.
Yep.
So I'm like, you wasted your card. I am not picking yours because you wasted it. Like I metagame hard on that, in all honesty.
Well then.
But yeah, so that's No Regerts, which I immediately went to the Snickers commercial when Amy, you first said that. Like Regerts. So Nate, I'm gonna say mine for last. Mine's really quick. Nate, what have you been watching this past, however long far back you want to go?
Okay, so really quickly, so watching, I just finished the Amazon original, and I know it's been out for a little while, but the Amazon original series with Billy Bob Thornton, Goliath, which was absolutely amazing. It got renewed for a second season, which is exciting. I love Billy Bob Thornton. So it's 8 episodes. They're roughly about an hour a piece, and it starts off where he is a defunct attorney. He's got an alcohol problem. He has a prostitution problem, and it's Billy Bob Thornton. So he ends up getting asked to do, like, the show starts off with 2 Hispanic guys that are fishing on a boat, and another boat blows up in front of them, and then it's like 2 years later. So there's this whole case going on where there's this guy who worked for this big weapons manufacturing company who it was ruled that he committed suicide, and his sister believes that he doesn't. There's no way that he possibly did. So her friend tries to get Billy, and the company he used to work for is the attorney for the weapons contractor, and they will not return her calls. So the whole episode 1, it all starts with her trying to get him to get her an in to the company to at least do something with this court case. It just completely untangles from there, and there's this massive, huge corporate cover-up, and it ends really, really well. The first Amazon original series I've watched entirely. I've tried so hard to watch Man on the High Castle because I love the context of it, but I could keep falling asleep. It gets drawn out way too much for me. So I finished it and I loved it, and I'm really excited for season 2. And
nice.
Yeah. Other than that,
David E. Kelly and Jonathan Shapiro. That is some great pedigree there.
it's an awesome, awesome cast. And again, it's Billy Bob Thornton. I love him in everything. I'm a big fan of his. I mean, even crap like Bad Santa and Bad Santa 2. Like Bad Santa was great in its own right, but like Bad Santa 2 was absolutely horrible, but he was still in it. Well, it was him and then the redhead that was in it too. But, because you have to have the fuck me Santa moment. But, I mean, that's just a Bad Santa. That's a Bad Santa staple. Evan in the internal chat there. Yeah, Fargo season 1. I haven't watched Fargo yet. I've never even seen the movie, but I hear nothing but good things about the show. So I have to watch that at some point.
The show is phenomenal.
Is it? Other than that, I haven't really been watching much other than, I mean, I watched American Beauty for the podcast on Sunday, but no, otherwise it's been gaming. I mentioned earlier the Path of Exile stuff. I tried out the new patch. No Man's Sky, the complete bomb that came out a year ago, finally got a massive patch that added like 30 hours of story content. So it's actually a game now. I've been playing that a little bit. And then the big one that I'm super excited about, and it's probably what I'm going to do once we're done with the show here, is Agents of Mayhem, which is done by Violition. It's the same people that made all the Saints Row games, but now it's if you guys are familiar with Crackdown for the Xbox 360, it's a similar idea. It's open world. It's cell shaded. You have these superpowers and you level
It's from
up.
the Saints Row people, right?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Well, you said Crackdown. I have no idea what that reference is, buddy.
Oh, sorry. No. Well, I said before that. I said it's by Violition, the same people who made Saints Row.
Okay.
I
was reading the show notes while you were talking, so I wasn't paying attention.
How's that for continuity, Nate?
Actually, I'm looking at pictures of Christina Hendricks because she was in Bad Santa 2 and because she's
that's what I was saying. The redhead.
Yeah.
Christina
redhead.
Christina Hendricks and her boobs. You always have to introduce them as 2 separate people.
Vin Diesel and Bruce Willis.
Right, there you go. I'm glad you gave them men's names. Says a lot about your personality.
No, there's a great video meme of her boobs, and you see Bruce Willis is one of them, and then Vin Diesel is the other one. Their faces just kind of pop out from behind her shirt.
I've never seen it. I'll have to look
It
that up.
is tremendous.
But anyway, yeah, so Agents of Mayhem, I've put probably about an hour and a half into it so far. It's a lot of fun. The story's over the top and kooky like you'd expect from those guys. If you get it on Green Man Gaming right now, I can't speak for Steam and I can't speak for consoles, but I just got it yesterday. If you get it for Green Man Gaming, not only is it not 60, it's only 45. Because Green Man Gaming is awesome. You do still get the day one and pre-order bonuses, which means you get some extra skins. And one of the skins, back to the comic books, one of the skins for one of the characters you get. So you start off with 3 agents. You get this big dude who wields a shotgun, this tiny chick who wields dual Uzis, and then like your action hero star with the assault rifle. The skin he gets, I forget what they call it, but it's Iron Man. It makes his suit red and gold, and the Agents of Mayhem symbol on his chest lights up like Iron Man. He's got the Robert Downey Jr. Pencil mustache and goatee and stuff. So that's pretty cool. But you also get, if you're familiar with the Saints Row series, you get Johnny Gat as a playable agent, which is really cool. But no, I mean, it's Violation. They make great stuff other than Saints Row 1, but 2 and on were good.
Yes, I think I played Saints Row the third, and I played it on PC because I was playing it on my gaming PC that just wanted to freeze at certain times. It was always been the same mission. I'm like, you fucker.
They weren't all that well 2 and 3 weren't that well optimized for PC. 4 and Get Out of Hell were great on PC because they finally realized that they had a market there. No, it's really interesting with Violation and Saints Row because Saints Row 1 started as a Grand Theft Auto ripoff. Like it was just, I forget the exact date it came out. Someone might be able to look, but I know it was somewhere within that year bracket, like a few years before, or at least after. It would have been after, but somewhere within the market of like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas and Grand Theft Auto 4. I believe it was either just before or just after Grand Theft Auto 4, but anyway, it's not important. But they were really trying to ride the San Andreas hype. It was very ghetto. You were in the Saints gang. You know, it was big jumping cars and the hydraulics and like everything was just stupid. Like they really tried to go off the San Andreas hype. They did it really, really bad. It was horrible. It was buggy. It didn't have all the features that Grand Theft Auto had. And I'm amazed another one came out. They realized that it wasn't going to do them any good to try and copy Grand Theft Auto because GTA and Rockstar, similar idea like with Blizzard, like they do what they do and they do it right. So don't try and copy it. So they took Saints Row down like a not so serious path, and 2 got wacky, 3 got even wackier. And then we got 4. And again, Get Out of Hell. You had like Burt Reynolds as the mayor one time. And it was great because the first time you meet him, you walk into the room and they actually say Burt fucking Reynolds. So everyone wanted that moment. I was going to say, it's interesting because so many times people will try and do copycats and they'll fail. And in this situation, the copycat made them realize to do something different. And then they became one of the most original and unique open world sandbox games out there.
So I will say with Saints Row, because I've played 3 and I watched the reviews of it when it was coming out, because they had Destructoid had their own TV, or well, not TV, podcast thing on Revision 3, and the promotional stuff, like the pre-order stuff you got a giant dildo baseball bat that was one of the weapons for Saints Row the 3rd, and I'm like, what the like? We're talking 5 foot long kendo stick dildo combo thing that at the end just flopped around, and I'm like, good God, man.
That was the thing, is like Grand Theft Auto tried to do that a little bit. Like you could find a dildo in the strip club in San Andreas, and you can have sex with a prostitute and then kill her afterwards to get your money back. Like there's some things you can do in Grand Theft Auto, respect to women and everything that Rockstar does so well. But the thing about Saints Row is it took it to the next level. Like, you mentioned the big dildo bat. Yeah. And then put yourself in a gimp suit and run around and hit people with it. It was really funny. Like there was a special gun you could get where when you shot people with it, and made like everyone you hit with it do the pelvic thrust. So they went way over the top, and it worked really well for them. And you ended up getting like an alien invasion, and then like again, Gat died in 4, spoilers, and then that was the whole premise behind like the Gat Out of Hell DLC, and like you were like fighting demons in hell because Johnny Gat's awesome. I was super pumped when I saw that he was playable in this. But yeah, they're very superhero like in this one. It's even more so over the top. You've got very stereotypical like 80s movie villain, like B movie villains. The vulgarity is there. The acting is cheesy. It's everything you're looking for from these guys, and it's a lot of fun. And for me, the thing I like, because some games don't do it. It runs an ultra wide, so it looks really beautiful on my monitor.
So mine, real quick, I got 2 comic books. It would have been 3, but I didn't have time to read the third one, and it's Marvel Generations. So Marvel's been doing this thing, preparing for Marvel Legacy, and Corey's gonna bitch because this is also while Secret Empire is going on and wrapping up. But they've been doing, like, this is the 3rd issue. This is Wolverine. This is all new Wolverine and Wolverine. So it's Laura Kinney and Logan. But they've done these team up with the new character, with the old original character, which is cool to see because you have Captain Marvel with Carol Danvers Captain Marvel. So she's the newer version. And then you go to, I know the book's called The Marvels, and it's Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, and Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel. And they've been telling these stories. The first issue was Banner Hulk and the Totally Awesome Hulk. It's called The Strongest. And it just tells these stories. You're always going through this through the eyes of the younger character. So you're like this issue you're going through with Amadeus Cho, who had cured the Hulk, and then Bruce Banner had died from events of
shitty writing.
Shitty writing, aka Civil War II. And you get. And so he's like, wait, this isn't happening. And he's sort of trying to figure things out while learning how to be a better Hulk from the Hulk. And then you go to Generations with Phoenix and Jean Grey. This one was called The Phoenix. And you have Jean Grey, who's the time displaced. Corey will bash on this. The time displaced, dimension displaced mutant from the X-Men First Class into the current Marvel universe, where she's, everyone knows, oh, Jean Grey becomes the Phoenix, and she's having to deal with the pressures of becoming the Phoenix. And we see this as she meets Jean Grey, who just became the Phoenix. The thing I like about all these is they've got the writers, like they've picked with all the writers and artists that they've picked for this. It's been really great. People who understand these characters and are making compelling stories. So, for example, the 3rd issue that came out this week, Generations the Best, which is the Wolverine books, is written by Tom Taylor, who is doing the all-new Wolverine story. It's one of these, like, you look at all of these books, and I'm like, these are really good mini self-contained stories. They're not leading to anything. It's more of, one-shots where you're getting, complete story, like Corey was mentioning when we were talking about comics in the news story, in the news segment. They're so, it's one of these things, like, I can't explain it because, one, I sort of not forgot, but it's back burner because I'm like, okay, this week's comics, but they're telling compelling stories. You see, for example, with the Phoenix story, you're following Jean Grey as the young Jean Grey. She's like, wait, well, what's going on? Because she knows everything that has happened to this Phoenix, to this older Jean Grey. So she's with the dilemma. Do I tell her? Do I alter history, by telling her, hey, you're going to go crazy. The masterminds are going to take over your mind and, make you kill all the mutants and all this stuff, and the events that happen with Phoenix Saga, I believe. Or do I just let her go? And she realizes, she's like, I'll let her go because it's not my place to tell. I like it. Corey, I honestly don't know if you would like it or not, because you've been out of comics for a while.
Well, part of it is I'm going to call bullshit on, do I alter history by telling the Jean Grey character anything about her life? Oh, by the way, I'm already altering history by the fact that I exist in the current day, even though I'm supposed to have been from years before. Man, just such shit. On top of that, yeah, it's probably not for me. But I've seen the creators that are doing these books, and I agree with you. They're very good people. So if you want to pick some of your top creators to work on stuff and to work on this kind of project, the Marvel absolutely has. I don't question the quality, other than the fact that I question some of the premises.
Yeah.
Is this really anything? It sounds like stuff that it's a one-off story that really is going to have no impact in the long run, because I don't know that any of these characters really can impact their original versions or are going to be able to carry the story going forward in their own books. And I know it's been kind of pitched that way, but they also said it's not imaginary, it's not a time travel story. And like, what the fuck is it? Marvel doesn't know. They didn't know how to sell it.
I think Marvel is, I don't know if, I don't think they really know how they sell it, because on one hand, it looks like this is all lead into Marvel Legacy, like the Marvel Legacy one-shot.
It just feels like a wank fest to me. And it's a problem that I have with Marvel overall in the editorial capacity, but not on the creator capacity. The creators are good. And if you're enjoying what Marvel is doing, or if you're enjoying the promise of what Marvel Legacy is going to lead into, then you will likely enjoy this, it sounds like. And that's perfectly okay. I'm not here to shit in anybody else's good time. I'm just here to tell you you're wrong.
No, yeah. But yeah, so that is our nerding out, our ElseNerds.
I don't
Yeah.
know what's next, but I have a very important question for you.
Okay, I have a very important answer.
All right. What is your opinion on Baron Corbin cashing in Money in the Bank 5 days before SummerSlam?
So this is one of the moments, because again, I am a wrestling fan. I've been contemplating a wrestling show for Galactic Networks. It's just been like, okay, I need to get my schedule going on, and who do I have as a co-host?
You're talking to the right guy, because
Yeah,
I believe Nate just
We just
finished doing a wrestling show.
we just ended our wrestling podcast, not for a lack of love, but just because it was no time. So
Yeah.
by all means, after we are off air, I will have conversations with you.
I looked at that, and as soon as he's like, cash in, and I'm like, okay, this is he's doing the Edge route with Ed, with Edge winning the first Money in the Bank and doing all that stuff. You then see John Cena come up on the apron, and I'm like, Baron Corbin is a fucking moron, because I knew for a fact, and I'm like, and it made sense. It's one of those things that it infuriates me with the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, because you had other wrestlers who could have gotten the push. Baron Corbin could have gotten the push, could have become that main event wrestler.
Yeah, but does having a feud with John Cena not qualify him as a main event wrestler? I mean, Cena is the Hogan of the day.
Yes, it does, but it's also one of those things that you could have used this to be a main eventer in the same way John Cena is a main eventer, not in the way of Mick Foley as a main eventer. Mick Foley is not known for his title runs.
Right.
Mick Foley is known for being Cactus Jack, Dude Love, Mankind.
Right.
And
yeah. No, for sure. All right. So really quick, I know the show's already long, and I know we are 2 wrestling fans in a group of 6. Okay. So the rumor or the speculation going into SummerSlam prior to Tuesday when he cashed in, because, okay, so we have an issue at SummerSlam, because one of the only matches worth caring about is Jinder versus Shinsuke. Right.
Yes.
So that being said, we don't want Shinsuke to lose yet, but are they going to give him the title yet? I mean, I don't want Jinder to have the goddamn belt anymore, because fuck that guy. But so here's the thing, like the speculation was that Shinsuke was going to be about to win or about to lose regardless. Baron would cash in, get the belt off Jinder, because almost everybody wants the belt off Jinder. He was there to sell merch in India. He did it, which doesn't even make any sense because he's Canadian, but whatever.
Yes.
So he has served his purpose. He's done. The feud with Orton is over. So now they only have 2 options. Either you give Shinsuke a loss and you take away the steamroll that he's on right now, or you give him the belt. Is he ready for the belt? Now, they gave Balor the belt early last year, and then unfortunately he got injured. I would love to have seen Balor hold on to the belt longer. I hope he gets a title run again soon. But do we give Shinsuke the belt, or do we make him look weak to Jinder?
I say give him the belt, because then you have, I believe SmackDown has the second pay-per-view in September.
Yeah.
So there will be build up for a rivalry with Jinder Mahal, as the bad guy, as the heel, and Shinsuke as the face, as the good guy and all that. And you have this, epic battle between the 2 of them. You still have the benefit of Jinder Mahal being helping sell the merchandise in India, helping to launch the TV show that's over there, that's raking in the money.
Right.
That I think Sony's producing it or whatever.
Well, they got a national champion, so it's going to make sense.
Yeah.
The same reason why, like, when the U.S. announces they go to war, you put Cena as champion. And back in the 80s, you made Hogan champion. In the 90s, you made Hogan. You know what I mean? They do really good at riding the pop culture wave. The issue right now is just we don't relate to Jinder, so, like, we don't care.
And it's honestly, it's one of those things, like, I would say you give it to Shinsuke. Because you're opening up a bunch of great matches to be had with other wrestlers, with him holding the belt.
Not only a bunch of first-time encounters, but you also have a bunch of rematches from New Japan. Like, AJ would be amazing. They're on different programs, and he's not full-time, but I would love to see a Shinsuke-Brock Lesnar rematch. Now, granted, Brock can't wrestle the way to the caliber he used to be able to, but Shinsuke Lesnar would be great. So there's a lot I would love to see. And again, that's the only problem with the brand split. I'd love to see Shinsuke versus Balor. That would be awesome. Speaking of Balor, especially after the bloodbath, that's the only other match I'm looking forward to is Bray Wyatt versus Balor. I picked up, where is it? I got this guy at FYE.
Nice.
I was super excited about that.
For the audio listeners, he is holding up a Funko Pop of Finn Balor as the Demon.
Yeah, it's the FYE exclusive.
Yeah.
Found it in a mall in the middle of nowhere.
I'm going to say the one thing that I've been a little with the WWE and it's not the fact that Kurt Angle is the GM, it's the fact that the fans have such a hard nostalgia boner for him that while he's making a match, he is talking. His music is not going. They're still going, "You suck.
Yeah.
You suck."
Yeah, but no, I mean, I get your point, but the first night that he came back out on Raw and like he was coming out and they were doing the "You suck" chant and he was just smiling and the man was almost in tears. Like it's endearing for him and that's awesome.
And I'm not taking that away. I'm not taking that part away.
When Stone Cold was doing it and then for like years after and even sometimes still, like people couldn't talk without the whats. With Daniel Bryan, it was the yes or the no's. So it's cool that he has that power. I can't stand Angle. I couldn't stand him back in the day. I can't stand him so much. I mean, I don't mind him now, but like when they found out he was coming back, I'm like, why? I'm like, who gives a shit? It's Angle, like whatever. But now that he's back, like, I mean, I don't know if the man's doing it well. And that stupid shit that they did with Roman Reigns and Strowman at one of the last pay-per-views, where he like put him into the 18-wheeler or into the trailer. Yeah. Like, man, that stunt was dumb, but Angle was selling that. Like, you would have thought that shit was real.
This is, I will say this on that part. I do not like Braun Strowman as a character.
I like him better than Roman Reigns.
But here's the thing though. Roman Reigns will actually sell a match when you've got, Braun Strowman versus another big man. I'll even put it this way, because there were rumors a long time ago with WrestleMania that he was going to wrestle Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. It was going to be a one-on-one match, him versus Brock Lesnar. I'm like, okay, so you got a person who will sell for certain people, Brock Lesnar, which you found out with the Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view with him selling perfectly. That was a brilliant match with him and Samoa Joe. And then you got Braun Strowman, who seems to never sell. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why is this guy on Raw? Why is this guy on your flagship show? He should be down in NXT learning how to sell.
I disagree that Raw is flagship. But that's okay. I mean, I get it. It's flagship. But when it comes to the roster, SmackDown has the better men's roster and Raw has the better women's roster.
No, I will agree with you on that. But you look at it, you always like, that's the staple show that's been on for.
Speaking of the roster, can we fucking take the belt off Naomi already? I mean, I love the Raw division. Keep the belt on Bliss for as long as you want because it gives her more mic time.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. And then you've got Lana.
Just don't have her doing This Is Your Life segment.
Now, and it's like, I mean, the women are doing great. Like, Banks is awesome. Flair is awesome. Speaking of Flair, I mean, Ric Flair is going through some major health things right now. So Nature Boy might not be around much longer. So, I mean, the women's roster is doing great. But, like, you've got Naomi, who's a weak point. Bayley, who's a massive weak point. The Hart niece, who's a major weak point. Like, make Becky Lynch, give Becky Lynch a title run. Like, why hasn't she been one of the best performers in there?
Yeah, she's the first SmackDown Women's Champion, but she held it for such a short time.
Right. Yeah, but I like the fact that they got him doing ladder matches. That shit with the idiot was dumb, but whatever. They got him doing ladder matches. They put him in a Hell in a Cell. Like, they're doing like full legit wrestling matches now. I like the fact that it's the women's division and not the divas. Like, they're giving it legitimacy, and it's about time. One thing we talked about on That Was Awesome before we ended the podcast was that it would be like they should do what they do with 205 Live, and they should give the women their own show on the network.
Yeah.
And then that would let them be the focal point. Just having them have one or two one-off matches on the weekly shows, I don't think is enough because they're doing great work.
That's something that I'm hoping with the Mae Young Classic. I've still been hoping with that with
the UK.
With the UK show, because I'll tell you,
amazing.
Oh yeah, this is the thing. The Tyler Bate Pete Dunne match was fucking awesome at Takedown at Takeover Chicago.
Yes, that match was incredible.
Yeah, that was one of those matches. Yeah, that was one of those matches where, since I live in Michigan, I'm like, okay, I'm not too far from there. I'm like, oh, I wish I was there.
Yeah, so we had a big we did a big That Was Awesome special that Sunday. We did it for we did the UK tournament, we did NXT, and then we did whatever pay-per-view that was, I forget. But by far the match with Pete Dunne, both matches with Pete Dunne, the one on the UK tournament and the one on NXT, both of those matches were phenomenal.
Yeah,
some young talent there who is really, and I mean, and no, it's no surprise to anybody. If you want to watch the better show, you watch NXT.
Yeah,
you get better story, better drama, bigger, larger, larger pop characters on the shows proper. But if you want to watch better wrestling, watch NXT.
Yeah, definitely. That's the one thing that I've loved with seeing Bobby Roode and all the old TNA guys over, jumping over into here, putting on killer, and these, WWE getting people from New Japan and all over the world.
By the way, I think we started our wrestling podcast.
Yes. All we gotta do is just figure out time and all that stuff.
I think we're boring everybody else. So,
but yeah, so stay tuned. Me and Nate are probably gonna hammer this whole thing out when we go off the air.
But yeah, we'll kill it for now because Corey and Amy are like,
I enjoyed watching you guys hammer each other. That's fine.
Well, actually, to be fair, because Corey posted here, I am going to share this. He does, drag the show into, as he calls it, Corey land, forcing me to listen to a lot of things. This is now. Wait, were you on when we had Joey Image, or were you not? No. Not. Okay. So
I thought you were.
Sean has also been dragged over to Gregor World, where we talk about wrestling all the damn time.
I bet, man. You put Joey on there, yeah. Yeah, Joey.
I started with Joey's episode and then I had to duck out.
Oh, did you? Okay, yeah, I caught the beginning of it.
That's one of the things that I've been looking at is get Joey in on here, but I'm like, can we do a 3-man broadcast thing here? But no, I'm excited for this. We're gonna talk more later, but we should take a break.
Are ghosts or Bigfoot real? Whatever happened to all that stuff that went missing in the Bermuda Triangle? Did the U.S. government experiment with time travel? Is there a secret society really running the world? Hell if we know, but you're guaranteed to hear us try to figure it out on the Weird World Weekly podcast. If it's the paranormal, conspiratorial, mythological, unexplained, or anything else strange, we talk about it. Find us on your favorite podcast app or by going to gncasts.com/weird. That's gncasts.com/weird.
For more on this Galactic Network podcast, go to gncast.com. That's gncast.com.